Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have race number 1 of 3 of the Area 51 Racing League All-Star Week. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have 3 races on the normal broadcast nights on Tuesday night, of course tonight with the Indycars, Thursday night with the Cup Cars, and then we'll finish things off on Sunday evening with the Cup Cars at the Super Speedway. And so right now drivers are making their qualifying laps, so we'll let everybody finish those up. But I do want to do is kind of run through some of those drivers that we're going to be seeing this evening. And I'll say we're going to start things off actually with our Super Speedway Cup Series. So I'm just going to go by numerical order. So you got the number 1 of Gabe Butler. As we know, Gabe, I believe, was actually the Season 4 Series champion of the Super Speedway Cup Series. In this season, picked up 2 wins. 2 wins in the season for Season 5, 6 top 5s and 8 top 10s for Gabe. And then also we have the number 6 of Bud Steele's going to be in the race as well. Bud's one of those Indy drivers, is able to do some damage there. So out of his 10 starts, he had 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. Then we also have Ryan Kelly in that 13 car. And Ryan, our runner-up in the Super Speedway Cup Series champion. Ryan Kelly's runner-up in the Thursday Cup Series, racking up, though, 4 wins in that 12-race season, 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s. Then next to him, we've got the 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. Brandon's had some really good runs as well in that number 23 machine. In the Cup Series, Super Speedway Cup Series, he's got 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s in his 10 starts there. And then we're looking at the Cup Series. Where's Brandon? There he is. 5 top 5s and 5 top 10s in the Cup Series. And then in the Indy Series, he has 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s over there. Then we have the number 25 machine. That is Kevin Freeze, our Season 5 Super Speedway Cup Series champion. Kevin getting some pretty good numbers there as well with the 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s out of the 12 races. And the 27 of Charles Teed. Charles winning the, I believe it was the Indy Series. I just got to find him on my list here. Yeah, Charles with one win, 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s. I don't know if I have a chance to go through everybody here. So we're getting ready to grid here in just a moment. So let me get everything pulled up here. Alright, so I'll actually go through our qualifying order. So pole position is going to go to that number 1 machine of Gabe Butler. I used to seeing him do this with the Super Speedway Series there with the Cup Cars. He's doing it again here, though, with the Indy Cars at Michigan. Next to him, Craig Forsyth, definitely one to contend with. This will be probably in his wheelhouse tonight. That being said, though, he's going to have some competition from that 3rd position of Jack Walls, David Leclerc in 4th. Name, as I mentioned, Charles Teed there 5th, Brandon Pasalacqua 6th, Michael Spell 7th, Maxwell Caldwell, our Cup Series champion, is in 8th. And then 9th through 16th here you got Ryan Kelly, Nicholas Winook, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele, Eric Schaus, Kevin Freeze, James Ledford, Eric Laurie. And then the last 2 in the grid, we got the 44 of Dwight Plush and the 76 of Jim Brooks. So those are going to be the drivers taking the grid this evening. I didn't have a chance to go through all the drivers there. But Charles T, we mentioned him. Dwight Plush as well, so he's been running a lot of these series. 48 James Ledford, the 87 Cup Series champion on Wednesdays. The 50 of David Leclerc, we've seen him up front, more often than not in his races. 071 Eric Laurie, we've seen him running the Super Speedway Cup Series. 72 of Eric Schaus, of course, our Indy Series champion in that number 72 machine. 76 to Jim Brooks, he's definitely had some race wins in that number 76 machine. I don't have all the numbers handy. I apologize, everyone. Then 78 of Nicholas Winook, 81 of Todd Merkel as well, and 83 of Jack Walls, 88 of Michael Spell, 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Maxwell, as I mentioned there, our Season 5 Cup Series champion, and then the 131 of Craig Forsyth. And so those are going to be our drivers for the race this evening. So again, kind of a unique take here. We're going to have 100 laps tonight at Michigan. 18 drivers taking the grid here. So and basically what's going to be is whoever has the best results out of the 3 races. Tonight the Indycars at Michigan. Thursday we will be with the Cup cars, and then Sunday we'll finish things off with the Super Speedway Cup cars. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. Fuel window sounds like might be in the 25 or so lap range, so that could be critical to see how that pans out on the fuel strategy of things. And then, of course, it sounds like they have 1 fast repair for tonight, so they're going to have to be careful, keep that in their hand or in their pocket if they need to. So let's say, that being said, though, we're about to get things underway. Say again, our race leader is going to on the pole is the number 1 in Gabe Butler. Craig Forsyth 2 is outside. So you're gonna have some of these Cup drivers getting a quick accustomed to these Indy cars, and then we'll have the same thing on Thursday with these IndyCar drivers getting used to these Cup cars. And we are away. Great start for that number 1 of Gabe Butler. Gets a really good launch there and is able to clear the pack here. You see there behind Jack Walls in competition there with that 131 of Craig Forsyth. But I say, unfortunately for Gabe, though, he's going to be very familiar with the draft as he is with the Cup cars. These Indy cars are going to come right back up onto the back bumper of that number 1 machine. Got 3 wide here for second place with that number 50. The 131 and the 83, they get it squared away for just a moment. But now you've got the 50 of David Leclerc. He's going to try to make the top side work coming out of the 4 through the tri-oval. And I believe David Leclerc is going to lead that first lap and get to the bottom there and clear that number 1 machine. Oh, we see 2 go off to the infield there. I saw the 83 Jock Wall. He's okay, but we do have a caution in the back. Looks like the 13 of Ryan Kelly is involved. Let's say, yeah, car definitely in bad shape there, but looks like he's going to be able to keep it under power, so he'll have to use one of those fast repairs. Not sure if anybody else was involved in the incident there. So kind of scrolling through a little bit just to make sure everybody's cars look in good shape. So with that, we're going to be under our first yellow here. So let's go ahead and see what happened to this number 13 machine. So we also saw the 83 there jump to the inside. So say not sure if it was related or 2 separate incidents. We'll start with the 83 of Jack Walls here. So watch Jack as he comes out of turn number 2. I just wonder if he just maybe had it pinched to the inside or not. Yeah, you can see it start stepping out on him. He tries to catch it. Actually, right behind him, you see the 13 of Ryan Kelly. Does the exact same thing. You see Jack's able to hang on to, but unfortunately Ryan snaps around all the way. And at that point, there's just nothing he can do. So he's just going to make heavy contact here with that inside pit wall, or inside guardrail, I should say. Safer barrier, and then get things back rolling again. That being said, though, you can see he was able to get that fast repair, and he's now back in the mix here. So he should be all right. As I say, pit road about to open for a lot of these drivers, and I think we're going to see a mixed bag here. Some drivers may try to top off here just to have that little bit of extra fuel in case of for the pit stop cycles, which right now looks like we do have a few takers: Maxwell Caldwell, Michael Spell, Kevin Freeze, Todd Merkel, Eric Laurie, Jim Brooks, James Ledford, and Dwight Plush all hitting the pits. So it looks like about a split bag here strategy-wise, so I'll have to kind of keep an eye and see if that comes into play as this run progresses. Glad to see you on here, Rachel. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Say it should hope again. Say not a lot of pressure on this one, just for fun. Obviously, a little bit of, I'm sure, pressure because there is a cash prize for the winner of the overall title. So for the All-Star Week. So obviously that's what going to be what the drivers are going after. That and a little bit of bragging rights, of course, as well. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. But yeah, saying one thing I was noticing: track temp is 66 degrees, or sorry, ambient temp 66 degrees, track temp 91. So track might be a little bit warmer than maybe they're hoping for, and that might be some of what we saw. But also, I think at that point in the race, I think it's probably just cold tires. I'm just not quite having the grip of those cars we're looking for there. I'm going to try to do here as we have some time during cautions and things like that. I'll try to pull up stuff. So like right now, our race leader, David Leclerc, in that number 50. He has 27 starts in the Area 51 Racing League, has 1 win, 3 poles, 13 top 5s, and 38 top 10s out of those 97 starts. So, and actually he's completed 8,000 laps with the Area 51 Racing League, like on the dot. So perfect number there for that number 50 machine. So say with the average start of 9.81, average finish of 14.75. So say Dave looking to capitalize on that and see what he can do the rest of the way. So saying that's all of Area 51 altogether, all the various series and that he's a part of in that number 50 machine. I'll do real quick behind him that number 30, or sorry, the number 1 of Gabe Butler. I'll say Gabe in that number 1 machine. 121 starts. He has 12 wins, 21 poles, 50 top 5s, and 76 top 10s. So he's got about a 10% win percentage in that number 1 machine. And then average start of 6.93, average finish of 10.05, has completed 9,944 laps so far with this league, as we are about to get things underway. And again, that 50 has control of this restart, so whenever he's ready, he can get away, and he does so. And again, you see, gets a pretty good start there initially. However, that number 1 machine gets on it quick there, and it's right on the side there of that number 50. So we'll see how they're able to go through here. Oh, David gets loose. He's going to have contact with all. He's going up and over. Driver's going to have to try to avoid that number 50 machine. And so that's going to bring us back under caution now if he can get back on his wheels, and he does. So hopefully, yeah, looks like he can get things back rolling again. Not sure what happened to David there. So let's go back and take a look. That was a pretty nasty hit for him. Maybe just didn't have the angle of the turn that he was looking for. I'm not sure. So we'll take a look as he gets into turn number 1. You can see he's taking it really shallow. I just wonder again if the cold tires might be playing a role with that 50 machine. And the other thing I'm noticing, he's right on that seam. Yeah, it immediately snaps around on him. That seam, the seams are really dangerous. So say, especially with that track temp being a little bit warmer as it is, just hitting that seam is just going to upset the car that much more with the difference of the banking with the way these cars run. So yeah, unfortunately, heavy shot for that number 50. However, it looks like everybody's able to sneak around that 50 machine without any trouble. So I say unlucky though for David. However, lucky at least that he's able to keep the car rolling. It's going to be tough for him to try to stay on the lead lap here. As you can see, that thing just does not want to drive correctly. So you can see the field here catching up to the back of that machine. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that's going to put us back under yellow, as you see. Say that 50 trying to see what he can do and get that service done to the car. And it looks like we have some more pit strategy. Actually, a bunch of drivers actually coming in this time. Looks like those that didn't pit the first time might be coming in now, which is going to swing things over to the 23 of Brandon Pasalaco, who's going to be shown as our leader now. Which means let's get some stats on that number 23 machine. So Brandon said this is actually, he's only had 21 starts so far with this Area 51 Racing League. So again, relatively new. However, he's come on pretty strong just right off the bat. He has had 2 poles, 10 top 5s, 18 top 10s out of those 21 starts. So really good results for him right off the bat there. Like mentioned, just kind of probably getting his feet wet almost, you could say. So Brandon, I think, is going to have a lot to say as this race unfolds, and of course throughout the future seasons with the Area 51 Racing League. Behind him is that 83 of Jack Walls. Let me hunt Jack down here. Jack, we have in that number 83 Pennzoil machine. If you've seen Jack, or if you've raced with Jack, you know it's going to be a bright yellow Pennzoil car. That's pretty much all his criteria are for a paint job. I'm saying for Jack, he's had 156 starts here with the league, 7 wins, 11 poles, 68 top 5s, and 102 top 10s. So saying average start of 8.29, average finish of 9.22. with 13,345 laps completed so far in the league. So yeah, I'll say Jack definitely one of the drivers that's had some of the more races under his belt. One of the ones, I think, one of the early drivers to be part of this league here. So we have one to go. We'll grab one more driver here, and that will be the 72 of Eric Schaus. Let's say Eric, relatively new as well, 32 starts. However, he's made the most of them. He's had 4 wins, 11 poles, 13 top 5, 17 top 10s, and I say average start of 6.84, average finish of 10.84. Saying, as we mentioned, of course, also the Season 5 champion of the Indy Series here on Tuesdays with the Area 51 Racing League on Wednesday or on Tuesday evenings for Season 5. So say also Eric, I think, going to be one that we'll definitely be keeping an eye on as these seasons unfold. That being said, though, we're going to be back underway here. So lights are off in the pace car. We are on the one to go. Had a few drivers actually top off there as well, so maybe a little bit more strategy going on this one to go here. Unfortunately for David Leclerc, did get trapped a lap down there. However, is the only car 1 lap down, so should still be in pretty good shape here. So now things, though, are going to transfer over to that number 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. Saying he's going to see what he can do on this restart. So I haven't had actually any really good green flag running yet. So I think these drivers are going to probably just at some point here wind up trying to settle in and kind of get comfortable with everything, and we'll see how things get unfolding. Hey Don, good to see you. Hope you are doing well, sir. Let's say have fun on the dirt this evening, and bring home the checker flag, or don't come back, or come back on a flatbed. I think those are the rules, right? Alright, we are back going. You see Brandon there with a pretty good start over Jack Walls in the 83 car. But again, I say now we're going to see that momentum work its magic on the backstretch here. And Jack Wall is going to have a huge run to the back, and he's going to jump to the top immediately. And we'll see if he's able to make the pass, and we'll see how the inside line does through 3 and 4. We've seen that's been the trouble spot, is that inside groove so far. Car's just getting loose on him. You see Eric Schaus, he jumps to the inside line. Looks like he's going to try to go the short distance around for the moment. Then up top here comes Bud Steele in that number 6 machine. He's going to go to the top. We're going to go 3 wide here for the lead. Say with these tires being fresh, I think inside line is going to be the preferred place to be, and it does look that way. So it looks like Brandon going to hang on to the top spot. Jack Wall second, Bud Steele there in third, and then now the 72 of Eric Schaus there in fourth. And then right behind him is the one of Gabe Butler. Say Gabe's one of those. He's one of the first ones that pitted on that last caution. And also you see the 50 of David Leclerc. David trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way right now. As again, you see the leaders here going 3 wide through the front stretch. We'll see how they're able to take through the turns. But again, I think right now inside line is going to be where you want to be at this point in the race. I just think that those the tires and everything are going to be just that much better right now. So again, you can see right now that 23 Joe Wiggle there off of turn number 4, able to hang on to it. Definitely a moment there. And saying that gave Jack a little bit of momentum, just not enough yet though. And you can see now the 6 and the 72 side by side. They're entering turn number 1. Bud's going to use the top momentum here to see if he can get around the outside of that 72 car. As again, that 83 jump into the top, see if he can keep that 23 pinned to the bottom, maybe lose a little bit of momentum, and see if maybe that'll give Jack control of this lead. But Brandon is going to be holding strong here on that inside. Now it's just again all about the momentum as they come out of turn number 4. And it looks like that momentum was actually lost there, so Jack Wall is going to move to lead. Oh, you see Brandon got loose there, got to the apron, able to hang on to it, similar to actually what Jack did there a little earlier on. So great job by Brandon hanging on to that 23 car. It could have been a lot worse for him. So that's going to hand the lead over to Jack Walls now in the 83. Say now he's got his mirrors full of his championship rival, that 72 of Eric Schaus. Say those two are battling it out tooth and nail at the end, first season number 5 for the Indy Series. You see coming up in the background there, you got the 6 of Bud Steele there, 131 of Craig Forsyth. Craig also won one of those. He just didn't have the start to the season he wanted, but he is going to be one to contend with tonight as well for sure. And I see a few other drivers sneaking in there as well. You mentioned the one of Gabe Butler. He is right there underneath the 72 of Eric Schaus. And as we mentioned, that 50 of David Leclerc. Right now, 1 lap down. Just trying to keep himself in contention here, but he'll say he'll have to be a little bit careful right now because he doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot as these guys keep duking it out here up front. 27 of Charles Teeds right there in that fight here as well in that Pennzoil machine. Close there off of turn number 2 there. So you see all these drivers all kind of dicing it up for a position. The only driver right now is taking it easy is that 44 of Dwight Plesh. I think he's thinking, you guys go ahead here. I'm going to play it safe for a little bit and let you guys kind of abuse your stuff up right now. Also got to mention that 25 of Kevin Freese. Say we've been seeing a lot of him in the Super Speedway Cup Series on Sundays. So he's traded that car for an Indycar tonight. And say he's doing a really good job right now, showing just outside the top 5 in that 6th position. So again, adapting really well to these Indycars, and that's what's pretty fun about this, is just kind of switching up who's driving what, and just adds to the challenge of this All-Star event here with these 3 races. Say again, these guys 3 wide for the lead, saying they can get the run, they just can't quite go anywhere with it yet. That's not letting them say it's not kind of killing their enthusiasm for trying though. Say Bud Steele's actually got a pretty good run on the back. You see Craig Forsyth too is outside every so often. He'll peak to the top going 3 through the front stretch, and he has to tuck back in and use that draft again. So right now though, the first driver on those fresher tires is that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Now actually going to be the one of Gabe Butler. As we mentioned as well, the fuel window, say it's going to be different based on where you are on track. Because let's say some of those drivers further back in the pack here are probably saving a lot of fuel here, whereas that 83 of Jack Wells, 6 of Bud Steele, their pedals all the way to the floor here. They're not saving anything right now, so we'll see if that fuel strategy comes into play as well. But as dicey as it is right now, I have a sneaking suspicion. I don't know if Fuel Manager is going to come into this one and say, because they are going after it right now. And you can see Jack now, he's actually not running that yellow line. He wants to run the middle groove, just that momentum shift that we've seen. And you can see how on the exit, you can see where Bud Steele's able to gain a little bit of speed there on the exit, but then they kind of even out there as they go through 3 and 4 again side by side. And that's what you'll see here with these Indycars as they get right to each other's side pods. They're almost tire to tire contact, but again, they keep it clean off each other. And I'm saying Bud's still going to continue to try to work this top side, but they'll say that inside line up against the yellow line, it has slightly less banking than the middle line there on that second seam, or first seam, if you will. And that's why you see Jack Wells running that line, because if he goes lower, that car might actually break loose on him, or might even just push depending on how he hits that turn. So he's doing what he needs to do to keep that track position right now in that number 83 machine. Yeah, so you see that pink and black Brandon Pasalaco, he's snuck up into here, as has Kevin Freese. I say those two now up into 3rd and 4th respectively in those black and pink cars on the top side right now. So say they're doing a really good job here, also going after it. Say, as I mentioned for Kevin, I'm not sure if he's run Indy cars before, if this might be his first attempt at it, but he is going strong right now. As you see, he peeks to the outside of Bud Steele, and they say, we'll see if he can make it stick, but it's close there off of 4. But again, I think right now with the way these tires are and everything, I say they're not far enough, I don't think, in the fuel run yet. As Kevin's going to peek to the inside of Jack Wells. Oh, almost catches the quarter of the 83 car. And he's got to be careful because he just touched the yellow line, somehow hangs on to it. And he's going to lose a little bit of position there, but definitely a big moment there for the 25 of Kevin Freese. But a great save by him. So say that looks like it's going to still hold the lead with Jack Wells, Bud Steele. But now move Brandon Pasalaco up into 3rd. But you can see that's where you have to be careful. So you can see Jack's kind of cheating off that white line a little bit. So if someone gets a really good run on him, they can duck to the inside. As you can see, Brandon gets a big run to the top. He's going to go to the outside of Bud Steele. Again, I think everything's going to kind of sort themselves back to the middle here as they come through 1 and 2. But here comes that number 1 of Gabe Butler. He's trying to make another charge, as is the 76 now of Jim Brooks. You see him entering the picture here as well. And then I'm trying to catch which one that is behind him. Actually, that's Kevin Freeze. He's going to go back after this one here. He's recovered. He's ready to go again. You see right now I've got looks like about 9 cars actually right now, all kind of bundled in together here. So this is definitely a pretty wild one so far entering this event. Say we are on lap number 2500, so a quarter of the way through. So obviously some drivers made some earlier pit stops here, so that's going to be the next question is, when do those drivers that did not pit, when do they have to make their first set of pit stops, which is going to be those top 3, the 83, the 6, and the 23. And I say they'll have to be careful, because at some point they're going to have to try to find their way to get to the bottom to make that pit stop, which again I say with the cautions they'll be able to go a little bit further on the fuel window. I'm saying that 25 lap, of course, that could be just a rough estimate, may not be 100% accurate. So that being said, though, I think we're going to see these top 3 here pit very shortly. I say with, again, Jack Walls, Bud Steele, and Brandon Pasalaco will be the first 3 to definitely hit their pits, as they have yet to make a pit stop in this race. Alright, so again, see now the 76 Jim Brooks, he's trying to hold right on the back of that gearbox of the number 83 of Jack Walls. Because again, if he sees that 83 peel off, he might be able to try to inherit this lead here. So I think that's maybe what some of these guys are trying to position for, is to put themselves in that ideal spot. As you can see, he's actually peeks to the inside just a little bit. Oh, you can see everybody's starting to bundle up a little bit as well. You see 72 of Eric Schaus, he's starting to work his way up there as well again. You see Charles Teed, I believe that is in the 27 machine. And so I say again, everybody's kind of dicing around here for position. And again, I feel like pit stops are going to be coming through here very soon, and that's again going to be critical to figure out when to make your move, and you got to make sure you're on the bottom and not get pinned to the top here, because if you run out of fuel here with these cars, it's a long way around to try to have to coast this thing. So far, everybody stays out. We see Brandon there was in the middle of 3 between the 27 and the 72. Finds his way to squeeze through that one. I'll say there's a moment there for him as well. Saying again, I feel like as a contact there, I think it was the 27 of Charles Teed. We are under caution. Looks like it might just be only the 27 involved in this one. So he's going to spin this thing back around. So unfortunately, it does look like it has some suspension damage, so it's going to be a bit of a handful for him to get it back to the pits here. So let's go ahead and see what happened to Charles here to bring out this caution. I'll say probably a perfect opportunity for those leaders that yet to make their pit stop, though. So we're going to watch that number 27. I say that blue and white on the nose of the car, the Pennzoil machine behind the second car on the top side behind Bud Steele again. As you can see, you see Eric Schaus. He dives to the inside. Oh, yes, I think it's just drivers going for the same spot there. 72 and the 27, they make contact. I think the 27 was trying to get underneath the 6, and then I say that's kind of where that contact came about. So, unfortunately, their contact between the 27 and the 72. However, say just a single car incident looks like after all of that, which I believe is going to be the break that number 50 of David Leclerc was looking for, because that should get him back onto the lead lap. Now, say this is, actually, as I say that, you see him spin to the infield here as everybody was checking up. So hopefully it doesn't affect his lucky dog status there. He's got to try to get back on track cleanly here. So we'll keep an eye and see if he's able to still get that wave around or not on that number 50 machine. As we're going to see all the leaders here for sure hitting the pits. So we'll wait and see there. And I'll try to keep an eye and see if that 50 stays on track or not to get that wave around. Yeah, you see him going by now. So will be interesting to see here is going to be that 76 of Jim Brooks versus the 83 of Jack Walls. Say Jim has a little bit more fuel in his tank, so he's not going to take as long to get gas in the car as some of those others around him. That being said, though, you're going to see he's going to have to try to sort his way through some of these other drivers that are hitting their pits right there. So we'll see if he's able to maybe jump around and grab the lead off that number 83, and it does not look like he will. However, I believe... looks like Eric Schaus is going to jump a couple spots up into third in that number 72 machine. As we mentioned, there goes the 50 of David Leclerc. He's getting his lap back, so that's going to give us all 18 drivers back on the lead lap. He's going to hit the pits here and get that car serviced, and he'll be on equal running grounds as the rest of these drivers. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll go through some more drivers here, get some stats on everybody. And so we mentioned Eric Schaus, Bud Steele. I know we did them already. So let's go find one of our league admins, one of the initial drivers to be a part of this. That is going to be the 6 of Bud Steele. You see everybody running the apron here, just trying to save what they can, tires or fuel, I should say. So Bud has 164 starts, 14 wins, 13 poles, 47 top 5s, 84 top 10s. And he has completed 14,058 laps in that number 6 machine. And let's see, who's our next one we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. I don't know if we got Craig Forsyth yet. I don't believe we have. Saying Craig as well, say kind of a relatively recent driver on here, so he's not going to have quite the numbers, but the ones he has are going to be stout once I find him. There he is. So Craig in that number 35 machine has, 131 machine has 35 starts, 7 wins, 3 poles, 19 top 5s, 26 top 10s. So say again, really good results for him. Average start of 6.71, average finish of 6.89. So that driver has definitely been doing what he needs to do to get those solid results for him. And then let's grab Kevin Fries, Good Kevin as he's known by his teammates. So I believe season 5 is his first season, and it definitely is, as he has 12 starts, but in those 12 starts, 2 wins, 1 pole, 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and of course that season 5 championship as well. And I know they mentioned, we were talking about during the broadcast on Sunday, of those 9 top 5s, I believe all but 2 of them were top 3 finishes as well. So really good runs for that number 25 machine of Kevin Fries. As we are on the 1 to go here, so we're going to jump back over to our race leader, that 83 of Jack Walls. Again, Jack's going to have control of this restart here, so we'll see what he is able to do. So he's going to try to get a good start. You see he's running the bottom to kind of go that shorter distance around. So Jack Wall is going to lead this restart with 68 laps remaining. Saying I think I saw a lot of drivers trying to kind of probably do some fuel strategy here, trying to save as much as they can and maybe try to see if they can stretch it to that 33 or so lap mark to make it on one more stop. We'll see if that comes into play or not. As Bud Steele with a huge head of steam, you can see he's going to get to the outside. We'll see if he can clear him or not. But as you see, it looks like stalls out just as he gets into turn 3. Might be able to close the door on him, but is thinking better of it there. But definitely had the opportunity to almost make that happen. As you see, top 4 have kind of snuck away just for the moment. You got Jim Brooks there, Eric Schaus, and Bud Steele and Jack Walls are the top 4 at the moment. Saying give it another half a lap, and saying you're going to see the rest of these guys like Craig Forsyth, Brendan Passalacqua, they're all going to jump back into this mix. And we're going to have looks like about an 8-car battle here for the lead. I see Nicholas Winook just a little bit out of that group as well right now, but again, he's going to definitely be able to tag on to this one as well here. So he'll hop on board with that 78 as he's trying to chase these leaders down. Saying again, the way these cars draft, say you got about a 2-second range. Just saying, if you can get within 2 seconds of that car in front of you, you're going to grab their toe, and you're going to get some fast laps, and that's what we see here. Nicholas there was actually running about, actually was a full second faster than the leader just from that draft alone. So that's how strong the draft is with these cars. I'm trying to see if I can find some speeds. Let's say through the turns, looks like they're going about 215 or so in the middle of the turn at the slowest point. And I believe these things getting up to about 230 through the straightaways as they enter turn number 1. So you can see he's already having a lift out of it at 227. They're entering turn number 1. As Eric Laurie puts the fastest lap in the race of that 31.208. And David Leclerc wasting no time. So he got that fast pair, got the lucky dog. Oh, almost contact between himself and that 78. Or sorry, no, that's not the 78. Which car is that? That's a 23, I believe it was Brandon Passalacqua. Almost contact between the two of them. Kevin Freeze with the big moment there. I don't know how he hung on to that one. He's got some quick hands in that number 25 car. And looks like he's going to be able to get away with that, but that was a big moment for him as well. Great job for his reactions there to try to stay out of that one and hang on to that car in the first place. Oh, contact looked like between the 72, I think, and the 83. Saw the 72 bounce up in the air a little bit. But again, both drivers look like they get away with it somehow. It definitely cost Eric a little bit of position there, but it looks like he's going to hang on to it for the moment. But yeah, I say right now, though, really close quartered racing here at Michigan. Saying that you're going to see that here with the fresher tires as well. I think as the tires wear, we might see a little bit more movement around and say where you can, I think, get that outside line to work a little better. But yeah, right now though, it's all hands on deck here up front. Craig Forsyth on the back of the number 131 of Jack Walls. So you see again, kind of peeking 3 wide, but right now say the momentum just isn't quite there for that third lane here. I think as the tires wear more, you might see a little bit more of it. Right now I feel like that 131 Craig Forsyth, he's probably in one of the tougher spots with that car. As I say that, Eric Schaus going to peek to his inside. They're going to go 3 wide, possibly. They do his contact with Bud Steels his butt up into the wall. See one other going up and around. I think that is... I think that's David Leclerc in the 50. I want to say if that's the case, I believe they just had the one faster pair, so that might be it for him, unfortunately. And so I think that was just 3 wide. They're getting a little bit too squeezed with each other. So Bud's going to have to try to limp this thing to the pits and get that faster pair done on his machine. So let's take a better look and see where this all happened. So I want to say it was between these 3 drivers here, the 6, the 131, and the 72 as they entered turn number 3. And yeah, I say... looks like, yeah, I think Craig was just trying to give a little bit of room to Eric Schaus. I don't know if Bud maybe didn't realize they were 3. I say unfortunate contact between the 2 of them entering the turn. And then I say just unfortunate David Leclerc nowhere he can go, so he's just going to go right into the path of that number 50 car. Saying they're both going to go for a bit of a ride here as well. It looks like, oh, you see one, I think that's Eric Laurie. Yeah, Eric gives actually Bud a really big shot there. So that's going to set Bud up onto the pit, or the catch fence, if you will. Say watching right here the 50 of David Leclerc as he goes up and around. Looks like everybody snuck around those 2. So I think right now it looks like the only one involved was that 071 of Eric Laurie, which actually his car looks like he got away with it fairly decently, to be honest. And then yeah, and then Bud obviously trying to get things back going, trying to find his way back to the pit still. So it looks like he is almost got it there. And I see the 27 of Charles Teed got one of his laps back, so he is now just 1 lap down, it appears. And then looks like we got some more strategy going on here with Jack Walls is going to stay out. And then everybody else hitting the pit road there. So Jack again going to be a little lighter on fuel, but is definitely going to be a little bit worse on his tires. But we'll see if that comes into play or not here. Alright, so let's see. Who have we not been able to grab yet? I don't think we had a chance to chat about the 76 of Jim Brooks. Let's say also one of the founding members of the league. And it looks like he is second on the start count as well with 190 starts for the league with 10 wins, 4 poles, 55 top 5s, 112 top 10s. So average start of 16th and an average finish of 10.39. Say Jim trying to see if he can cause some trouble here in that number 76 machine, see what he can do. I believe that we talked about Brandon. I think the next in line is going to be that 78 of Nicholas Winook. Again, I think a newer member of the league. I think we're going to hear plenty about him though as the season progresses here. Got to find him. There we are. Say Nicholas with 17 starts, 1 win, 1 top 5, 5 top 10s. Say average start of about 15th, average finish of 14th. Say I think just again trying to get himself kind of situated with these cars a little bit. There's a lot of drivers that are topped off on the one to go here with some more strategy calls. That being said, though, we got to grab this next driver here because Michael Spell in the 88, he is right now has the most races starts with 197 starts. Hasn't got the win that he's been looking for. He just hasn't had the luck, unfortunately. That being said, though, has 25 top 5s, 86 top 10s. So I say for him, it's just finding the getting that break at the right time. And so you never know. Say this All-Star week, this might be one of the weeks that he can get a win here with the Area 51 Racing League. Definitely would not put him past it, or put it past him, I should say, in that number 88 machine. Alright, so we're going to get things back underway. I still see the 6 of Bud Steele sitting in the pit, so may have had to take a tow to finally get that service done. May have popped the motor. So say it looks like he's going to get trapped a lap down. We'll see if he's able to get back out of the pits. That being said, though, it's going to put it again. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Pace car is back out, so we're actually going to go one more time around. And as you see, a lot of drivers, again, going to take advantage here and make some pit stops. So say we just mentioned Michael Spell in the 88, so let's grab Todd Merkel in that number 81 machine now. Let's check out. So again, Todd, one of those relatively new drivers to the league as well, but has had some pretty good results as well here. Let me find him. And I say relatively new, and I am not accurate on that one. Todd's got 47 starts with 2 poles, 10 top 5s, 28 top 10s. So I know we've been able to interview him, getting his first podium finishes, and then had a couple in a row as well. So say Todd, I think, is also one we haven't heard enough from yet. So I think he's going to be one that we'll definitely hear from as the season progresses. So saying again, so for some of the stuff that these guys do on the side, say Todd Merkel, actually a pro stock driver. So it's a pretty cool drag racing that he does. That's a lot of fun to do. Say those things. I say for pro stocks, I want to say they'd be in about I want to say maybe like 5-6 seconds or so down the quarter mile. So I don't have the numbers offhand, but it's quick, and say it's definitely takes a lot of focus and a lot of bravery to do this. I don't know if I could be able to handle that kind of stuff that he does there with those pro stocks. Alright, this time lights are off on the pace car. Say again, had some drivers with the pit strategy of topping off there. I think maybe just trying to take a little bit less fuel. It looks like Bud Steele is back on track and still on the lead lap, so it's going to leave Charles Teed as the only car 1 lap down. So now it's up to Jack Walls again, fire off when he is ready. And you see there, he's going to go for a later start there, so now those drivers behind him are going to have to be careful not to kind of run each other over, because everybody's going to try to anticipate that start a little bit. But so far, so good. So you can see Jack's able to hold on to the lead as they come through turns 1 and 2. You see Eric Schaus, he jumped to the top there to see if he can get the run, but open the door for Jim Brooks. He's going to get the huge head of steam down the back, see what he can do. But say I will see that 76, I think, stall out to the outside as they enter turn number 3. As you also see Kevin Fries, he's trying to join that party as well. You see Brandon Pasolaco still right there. Nicholas Winook is in that mix as well. So I think we're going to see again 2x2 up front here for the lead battle. So I think that's going to be the goal, is to be, you want to be that first car in the clean air, even if it's on the inside or the outside. So that's going to be the place to be, and it's saying that's going to be also where you want to try to see if you can make a crossover move or something like that. Maybe see if you can kind of cheat that 83 of kind of if he's maybe peeking towards the middle of the track, or maybe that first seam. Maybe you can see if you can duck it underneath him. I think that's where now, if you're that 25 of Kevin Fries, you saw him make that move earlier, so he had the really good run, jump to the inside of him. This time he's going to go top. I'll say we'll see how he's able to get the momentum to work on the top side. But again, I'll say these cars you cannot tandem draft, at least that I'm aware of, like you can in those Super Speedway Cup Series cars. So we'll see what see what Kevin's able to do, as Eric's now jumping into that mix as well. Jim Brooks still right there, as well as is Brandon Pasalacqua. I'll say right now you got pretty much the whole top 10, top 15 here all in the mix. And again, we mentioned Bud Steele. I keep mixing those two up. I'm sorry. Let's say Bud Steele is back on the lead lap, or still on the lead lap, so he's still in contention as well. You see him on that inside line. Looks like he's kind of taking it easy for the moment, maybe saving some fuel in that 6 machine. As you can see, close there between the 72 and the 25 going through 1 and 2. But right now, everybody's still holding pretty steady up front here. Oh, you see Brando's peek into the inside line, couldn't quite get there. I say that's, I think, what Jack's going to have to be careful about. So say if he leaves that seam open, someone's going to be able to sneak underneath him. But again, everybody's been jumping to the top of him so far. But I think at some point we're going to see, because you can see he's leaving over a car width between himself and that yellow line. So I think at some point someone's going to try to take advantage and get that run and drop to the inside here. Looks like now it's Eric Schaus's time. He's going to try to jump to the top. I'll say right now it's pretty much that. Say everybody's just kind of cycling through who's going to be the one to jump to the outside of that 83 of Jack Wells right here. But so far, I say Jack's able to still hold pretty strong, and say this is where you have to really just, you can't make any mistakes here. Because again, these cars, you're going about 230 miles an hour or so into turn number 1. And so just the littlest of mistakes there will really bite you with these cars. So so far we've seen a few of them, but not too bad for us. And unfortunately, David Leclerc, he did have to retire after that last incident here. He used up his faster pair. And so some of those guys, of course, are going to have to be careful as well. Like Bud Steele, he's going to have to be on his toes. I believe Charles Teed is in that same boat as well. But right now, though, still that 83 holding strong on that inside groove. Nobody's been able to get the momentum on the top side as of yet. Again, say we're still early on in this run. Say tires are still relatively fresh. But also have to mention, though, that 83 of Jack Wells, again, he did not pit. Everybody else did. So he's got about 10 laps older tires, 10 laps less of fuel than the rest of the field. So we'll see if that comes into play as well. So just kind of, I say we don't know obviously exactly what the pit number is or what the fuel numbers are. But I'm going to guess he probably has to pit in about 10 or so more laps in that number 83 machine, as we just crossed the halfway mark in this race and we have 50 laps remaining. Gives you an idea for how fast everything's going here with that wall camera. Again, these cars going about 100 or 230 or so entering the turns, drop to about 215 at most in the turns themselves. As again, you can see 2x2 up front. Every so often you see someone try to peek to the top of 3 wide. Oh, as I saw a contact in the back, I believe it may have been the 88 of Michael Spell. It was. That's going to bring out the caution. That's going to he's going to have to use his faster pair most likely in that machine. And it looks like Michael's actually the only one. Again, saying somehow these are single car incidents. So everybody else is able to get away from it. I'm not sure how, but they've done a pretty good job of it. So say we'll watch that 88. As you can see, is on the top side here. Saying that's kind of, you would think that's a safe place to be, but I'm guessing we'll see someone probably wash up a little bit in reaction to some stuff going on up front. So we'll watch here as Michael enters turn number 1. Yeah, you can see the 81, or the 81 Todd Markle just got a little bit tight there, and that washed him up into the 88 of Michael Spell. And say nothing Michael can do. He just gets stuck up onto that wall. But it looks again like Dwight Plush, I think, just found a way to sneak by there. So I don't think I see any damage on that number 44 machine here. But if he didn't hit him, it was by inches that he didn't get into him. So that will put us back under caution here. Say Michael Spell, of course, going to have to take a faster pair there. But I think, again, we talked about beneficiaries. I think it's going to be that 27 of Charles Teed. I think that's going to put him back onto the lead lap. So now it's going to be all about pit stops here. So say, again, Jack Wall is going to need about 10 laps more fuel than that 72 of Eric Schaus. We'll see if that changes the outcome of these pit stops. So I didn't think we'd see him stay out. He looked like he thought about it, but then ducks in last second. As we do have one strategy taker, it looks like, at least, which is going to be Bud Steele in the 6 machine. All right, so now we'll wait and watch pit stops. You see the 72, 76, they're going to hit their stalls now. And then it's going to be the 83 that gets into his pit box here as well. So we'll see if that 72, maybe he's able to jump in front of the 83. It looks like he will. So we're going to have a change of positions after the pit stops. However, will not be for the lead because that number 6 of Bud Steele stayed out here. So I think he's going with the strategy of, hey, we all got to make one more stop here. So I'm just going to go with that track position. I'm going to control this race. I'll say the only difference is Bud's going to be probably on about the oldest tires compared to the drivers on new tires than we've seen so far in this race. That being said, though, he's also going to have less fuel, so the car's going to be lighter. So it's kind of a wash on either side here. All right, so let's see. We've talked about Bud, Eric, Jack, Nicholas, Kevin, Jim, Craig. Who have we not had a chance? Have we chatted about Ryan Kelly yet? I don't believe we have. Let's go find that 13 of Ryan Kelly. I'll say Ryan is right now in the number 13 machine. I say he primarily runs the Cup Series. That being said, though, he has 101 starts, 21 wins, 11 poles, 52 top 5s, 64 top 10s. So Ryan definitely one to keep an eye on. As you see, it looks like he's going to go for that top off strategy as well. So let's see who's in there with him. So I don't think we mentioned Maxwell Caldwell yet in that 94 car. Again, our Cup Series championship for season 5. So again, Maxwell I think also say relatively new to the league. Obviously not new enough to have a title. He's got 41 starts, 3 wins, 5 poles, 21 top 5s, 28 top 10s, and of course is our season 5 Cup Series champion in that number 94 machine. And we are about to get things back going up front, so we'll jump back to our leader, Bud Steele, in the 6 machine. So say pretty much, again, everybody except that number 6 went ahead and pitted there. And then we've got from Gabe Butler in 10th on back, went ahead and took a topped off on that one to go. So we'll see if that comes into play as well in this race, as we have 45 laps remaining. So it's, again, a 100-lap race here. And so so far we had 5 cautions for the 16 laps. I guess a lot of these drivers, these Indy cars are probably a new experience for them. So there's going to be some growing pains and some learning curves with some of these drivers that they're all part of the same league, but they may not race these same cars with each other. So there's always that kind of thing. And of course, with the All-Star race, let's say there's always a little bit more aggression you might see in a regular points race here. All right, so it's going to put back into the hands of that number 6 of Bud Steele. And you can see he is down and away. So he gets a pretty good start there. Those top 3 are going to sneak away a little bit because Nicholas Winook actually looks like they caught him off guard a little bit in that number 78 machine. So they're going to all be trying to kind of jump after that from there. So we'll jump back over to that 78 machine. You can see 3 wide right away. You see Craig Forsyth, Kevin Freeze, they're going to jump to the inside. You also see the 81 of Todd Merkel. He's going to try to find his way through. And also here comes that 23 of Brendan Pasolaco. He's going to make a big charge here to that inside. Say up front, actually, I say while we're watching that, Eric Schaus is able to use the momentum. He gets around the 6 of Bud Steele, so that's going to give us a new leader. So say we're going to see Eric, I think, here play protect here and run that bottom line, make sure he doesn't do anything to give up that inside line. So unfortunately, Bud not able to capitalize on that restart being up front. However, he's going to again try to use that momentum down the back, and you see he gets to the side pod, actually sneaks ahead just by a nose there, but just isn't enough to clear that 72 car entering turn number 3. So I'll say these two are going to stay side pod to side pod there coming out of turn 4. And you see Jack Walls right there as well. And say with a huge head of steam, we're going to see that 131 of Craig Forsyth. I say probably a good chance of a fastest lap of the race, but actually not quite. That said, though, so you can see he is there in the mix as well again. And he's going to take the momentum to the top. He's going to jump outside of Jack Walls. He's going to jump outside of Bud Steele here to see if he can make a run to the top and try to grab the lead here. As again, that 72 and the 6 run side by side there through 3 and 4. And saying we'll see what Craig's able to do here. If he's going to stay in middle, he'll say he had a second probably to jump to the inside, but that gap is filled already. So we've got the whole top 8 here, all 2x2 up front. As again, that 72 and the 6 are just battling really close there side by side through 1 and 2 here with 41 laps remaining. Actually a few drivers there. It looks like we have a big one there in the back. Couldn't quite tell who was all involved. I see the 25 of Kevin Freeze. It looks like he is in it. So you see all the field here trying to sneak their way through there. He's going to loop it back around. So I think I also see the 78 of Nicholas Winook. He is caught up in it as well. I think I also see the 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. So I was going to put us back under caution. And I believe actually at the time of the caution, it looks like Bud Steele may have been able to grab the lead back from that number 72 of Eric Schaus. So let's go see what happened to bring out this yellow. Say everybody was all bundled here together. So say it's just one of those things as things tighten up towards the front. So I say, well, let's see who was the front driver of all of this. I think it may have been the 25 of Kevin Freeze and the 78 of Nicholas Winook. We'll watch them as they come into turn number 3 here. Yeah, you see the 70. It looks like he kind of just drifts up a little bit. Actually catches the right rear tire, gets up in the air a little bit. You see the 76 of Jim Brooks right behind him. Looks like he's able to just get to the left of them. So as you still see the 25 of Kevin Freeze. So you see he's on the brakes, Oh, he's gonna. Oh, he makes contact as well. So that's gonna put him up in the air. And that's where the 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua, he gets involved as well. So we'll see if anybody else is caught up in this or not. Oh, actually, as you see, Nicholas Winook actually goes up and over here. Big, I say really up and over there. Still luckily able to keep it on his wheels, though. And so you see Jim Brooks, he's able to limp that thing back around as well. So going to be more drivers here going to have to take some fast repairs and get back on track. And it looks like we have a couple takers on staying out this time, which will be the 72 of Eric Schaus, the 83 of Jack Walls, and the 81 of Todd Merkel. So those 3 drivers are going to stay out here under this caution. Looks like everybody else there is going to make their green flag, or make caution flag pit stops, I should say. And it looks like the 131 of Craig Forsyth, he's able to jump ahead of that number 6 of Bud Steele, grab one more spot there in the pits. Yeah, David, unfortunately, I say your bad luck has found its way to continue. I don't know what you need to do to shake that off, unfortunately, but definitely has not been your season or two with this league. But you're in a good spot there, just wrong place, wrong time. So they kind of got up into you there, and say just nothing you can do, unfortunately. So I'll say I hate it for you, man. I look forward to when you finally get the luck to turn your way around, and we'll be able to get you some interviews and everything like that. Because I know it's only a matter of time. You just got to have those breaks to have it happen. And that's the right attitude to have. That's what you got to do. Is you just have to kind of stay after it, stay positive. So as I said, I love being able to watch you race over here. So. Like I said, 2 more races to go still for this All-Star event. Obviously Thursday with the Cup Series, and then Sunday for the Super Speedway Cup Series. And then, of course, I'm sure you'll be part of the Tuesday race next week, though, with the paid event. I believe Dark Horse is sponsoring, so that'll be a lot of fun to be a part of and be able to broadcast that one as well. So, yeah, I'll say especially at these tracks, I feel like too, it's tough. I mean, it is basically a plate race with these cars, and just the momentum is everything. So it's a challenge, I'm sure. And I'm saying another thing that's actually going to be one to mention is going to be season 6. Actually, are no more fast repairs, if I understood correctly. So I mean, that's going to really change, I think, the way people drive in the strategy, because you don't have that repair in the bank anymore, so you have to be a little bit more cautious, I feel like, and say maybe that's going to help things out a little bit on that side as well. Help maybe drivers get to the end, or if people get caught up in these incidents, they might thin the field as well. To say those drivers that do keep it clean might be able to help them as well. I would say I appreciate I love being a part of it here with this league. So that being said, though, Eric Schaus going to get things going. Looks like he's going to go for a late start there, and Jack Walls is ready. He is right to the back of that number 72 car, so we'll see if he's able to duck inside. Couldn't quite do this. Eric Schaus had to jump and block that door as soon as that gap was about to open. So now Jack's going to, again, run that middle side. Todd Merkel, we're going to run the very top. But here comes that 131 Craig Forsyth with a lot of momentum here. As you can see, the 83 and the 72 squeezing each other down the back, not giving each other an inch there. So that's you gotta be careful, especially on these colder tires. That's where trouble brews we've seen earlier on. But it looks like Eric's just gonna hang on here for the moment. You see Jack again. He's gonna try to use the draft peak out for a bit. As we still, again, like I mentioned, there are still 36 laps to go. Still have a pit stop to go. Again, those two just up against each other there. Oh, you see a little bit of contact. Looks like, oh yeah, you can see there left front end plate damage to the 83 of Jack Walls. So it's going to probably affect his top end a little bit here. We'll see how it handles as well. I'll say it's, and he's doing everything he can there to try to grab the lead there, with squeezing that 72 car. I'll say it's pretty much exactly what we saw between the two of them at the season finale between those two for the lead as they contact again. Oh, we got a big wreck here. See, the 131 there was involved. Craig Forsyth going up and over. You see a few drivers trying to sneak by there. See the 48, I believe that's James Ledford coming to a slide. I saw some others involved. I couldn't quite catch all who they were. That was a big incident. I think Bud Steele might be one of those. He may be the one that's on. Yeah, that's Bud Steele on his lid. That's going to be his evening, I believe. Oh my goodness, that was massive there. So I think it's just, again, just really aggressive driving. We're getting towards the end of the race there. So actually, let's see if we can get a good angle here. So we saw the 83 and the 72 really squeezing each other there. As you see, oh, actually, yeah, you can see there he gets into the left or right rear, I should say. And then that's where, oh man, you see Bud Steele, he goes up and over. 131 and Craig Forsyth goes up and over. And you see these drivers, actually you got one driver there literally drove underneath that that 6 car. And yeah, as you see, that's where Michael Spell, he had contact with James Ledford. And so that's what unfortunately brought us back under that yellow. So I got to see who was it that drove under Bud Steele there. Couldn't quite catch that. I don't know if that was the 25. I believe it was the 25 with Kevin Free, as we'll slow things down here. So you see he's like, oh, where do I go? And I'm just going to go underneath them. And somehow that worked. So Kevin Free says, it looks like he got away with it. One thing I did notice is with that context, like it knocked off the engine cover for Eric Schaus in that 72 car. Not sure if that's going to affect him at all. I've seen some cars with some pretty good speed even without the engine cover. So we'll see. And yeah, sure enough, he's going to stay out. It looks like again everybody's going to pit. And so I think the strategy here for some of these guys is just see if they can stretch it to make. This might be one of those things like, okay, I'm going to pit here as soon as I can. And basically be able to make it to the end if we have more cautions, and kind of stretched out that way. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I'll say you're not wrong on that one, David. I say is at this point, I say we have to be careful. Say we're not going to have a lot of drivers left in this one. It looks like Jack, though, it looks like he is able to get his faster bar. He's going to be back into things as well. So the 44 of Dwight Plush, he's been able to make it back to the pits. I'll say unfortunately, Bud Steele, I believe his night is over in that 6 machine. And then I'm trying to see about the 88 of Michael Spell. Not sure on his. He may have had to use a fast pair or not. I can't remember offhand, to be honest. 48 of James Ledford. He is heading back out as well. So yeah, so that was a wild one there. So we were back under yellow here. You see that 72 Eric Schaus, 81 Todd Merkel. I'll say Todd's probably like, hey man, you don't have an engine cover. Just want to let you know there. So I think that's exactly what we see right here. I think they're kind of doing a damage report between those two cars. Let them know what they've got going on there. So like, see, I mean, his car looks clean. It just doesn't have that engine cover. But so we'll see if we'll see if he reacts to this. I don't think he can pit now. Otherwise, he's going to have a he'll get a penalty for pitting there. So I think he's just gonna have to hope and see what it does here. Saying David's letting me know, say it looks like everybody will have to pit again. It sounds like it's a 25 lap or so window. Again, you see drivers here topping off on the 1 to go. I think their goal right now is just to try to take the minimum amount of fuel as possible. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. So I think that's going to kind of play into some of the strategy calls as well. But Charles Teed, though, Jim Brooks, they're going to be the first two, looks like, and somehow Jack Wallace is going to come out in 5th. So these 3 drivers are going to be they'll be the first ones of those that had made their pit stops. Again, I mentioned Eric Schaus, Todd Merkel. They did not pit there, and so they definitely still have to make a normal pit stop. So I'm wondering if these guys that are topping off here, maybe either again going full fuel save, try to stretch it, or maybe they're just going with the approach of kind of do like the least amount of splash of fuel possible. So for those involved, unfortunately, it looks like Nicholas Winokus, I believe he has retired from the event in that 78 machine already from an earlier incident. I think this last one did Bud Steele in that number 6 car. And I actually see Kevin Freeze in the pits, showing him as a lap down. I say he actually got through that incident, I thought, so I'm not sure what's happening to him here. So unfortunately, he is showing 1 lap down at the moment from what I can tell. So that being said, though, we're going to get things going again. 1 to go. We're going to restart on lap 70 with 31 laps to go of the scheduled 100. And that's the other thing, too. We're all basing these numbers based on lap 100 being the last lap of the race. So we still have the 3 attempts of a green-white checkered, which can definitely stretch that out into the 110s or so. So we'll have to wait and see. And we'll see now it's up to that 72 car when he wants to drop and go. And everybody's got to be on their toes and be able to ready to react. And he is away. Alright, so now we're going to watch that momentum. We'll see if Todd Merkel's able to do anything with that momentum. But you see, actually, he doesn't really grab onto the draft. He's just going to jump to the top here. So I say he's not able to really use that slingshot, if you will, to jump right back up into the mix here, which is going to open the door now for Charles Teed. I say, let's see if he's able to capitalize on this one as well. As you can see, Jim Brooks trying to find his way back through. You can see Jack Walls right there as well. So again, got the top 5 all right here grouped together. And then you got Gabe Butler in that one. He's started to join the mix as well. And see, yep, you see Kevin Freeze. He is coming back on track. That's going to put him, unfortunately, 2 laps down, though. That being said, though, is the only car a lap or more down. So we'll have to wait and see. So he might be able to get some opportunities here and try to get back into this one. Alright, so you can see there Charles T just able to clear the 81 of Todd Merkel, although you see he's kind of running the top side here. I would think he's going to want to drop to the bottom at this point. So you want to use that draft of that car in front of you to kind of pull you away a little bit. But it looks like right now he's just going, I think he's just going for full clean air on that 27 car to try to keep it handling while get rid of that aero push. So obviously that's definitely one we have to be careful about. And saying we got round number 2 here now between, I guess maybe round number 3 if you want, actually, between the 83 and the 72. I want to say round number 1 being the season finale that we had for the Indy series. So now we had those, obviously that last incident between the 2 of them where these 2 race extremely hard against each other here. So we'll see if that continues on this run here. Oh, you see a little bit of a bobble there for the 83 of Jack Walls, able to recover it nicely though. But so you can see that cost him a little bit of momentum, but I don't think it's going to affect him on the his position overall, because again he's going to have that inside line. But as I say that, actually Todd Merkel able to get back around him, and also Charles Teed in the 27 for the moment. And here comes Maxwell Caldwell in that 94. He's working to the top side. So it looks like he's starting to get ready to make his move and make that charge towards the front here. You can see that 94 gets to the back of the 72 car. Again, just nowhere really he can go at this point in the race. Saying it looks like, I believe Maxwell is actually one of those that topped off on this one to go. So he's going to jump to the top here, see if he can get the momentum to go. Say again, you're going to try to get all the draft you can get as you go through the start-finish line here. Because again, that inside line is going to have the momentum through the turns here. And again, you can see now everybody's again running that first seam. They don't want to run that yellow line. It just doesn't have quite the momentum and speed that they want. So that's going to make it that much more challenging. As you can see, we talked about the inside line. If you get off that bottom a little bit, Jack Walls saw it. He took advantage of it. So Jack Wall's going to try to get himself back up to the lead. Looks like he will grab that spot. And now Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to try to follow through and do the same thing here in that number 94 car. As we saw that 83 there take advantage. Oh, we saw 76 to Jim Brooks get a little too low there. Had to react. Looks like he's able to hang on to it. But you can see everybody else kind of bobbled up a little bit behind him there. Good reaction there for Craig Forsyth in that 131 car. So we'll jump back to the front here. As always, you see Maxwell Caldwell. He does the same thing. He sneaks underneath the 83 there of Jack Wall's. So I move Maxwell to the front. Now you see 72 of Eric Schaus. He tries to peek to the inside. Couldn't get underneath the 94 car, but is able to sneak underneath Jack Wall's. So now Maxwell leading the way in that 94 here. But again, it's going to get pinched by that number 83 car. As you see Maxwell actually running a little lower, and you can see the momentum really work there. So that's a perfect example of what happens if you run that low line. You just do not get the momentum on the exit, which is going to give this lead back to Jack Walls for the moment. But you can see Maxwell not giving up on that inside line here, trying to see if he can make it work. And I think he's going to get his nose underneath again. As I said, he gets loose and is going to go through the grass here. So you got to say these cars not wanting to do some off-roading. He almost had it hung on to, but he's going to loop it around there. And that is going to stay green, actually, because there's nobody around him. So he's going to try to limp it back to the pits. Thought I saw some other smoke as well. I see Dwight Plesh. He's off the pack right now in the 44. Car looks okay, though. 23, Brendan Pastelacco. He's also lost his group. I wonder if they were possibly reacting to that. That's unfortunate to say. Maxwell had that save perfectly done. Just unfortunate to say that little bit of a bobble there when he kind of had that transition from banking to apron there was what did that, I think, did him in there. Alright, so back up front again, you see Jack Wells, Eric Schaus, and then you've got Charles T. Jim Brooks. They're all still right here in the mix. Todd Merkel still there as well. Saying again right now, you see Eric able to get again to the inside. So it looks like these drivers are kind of giving the bottom a little bit. They're off of 2, and then these drivers are able to capitalize and jump to the inside of them. So we'll see again. You see Eric now. He's kind of running off the bottom just a little bit there. But so far nobody's trying to take advantage of it yet. Because again, I don't think they want to run that yellow line here through 1 and 2, and I think that's what we're seeing. That's why they're not hugging that yellow line as tight as they could here. So this next time by, we're going to be at 20 laps to go. So again, Eric Schaus, Todd Merkel, again, a little bit less fuel than the cars around them. But you can see it's still holding strong. Again, Eric somehow, even without that engine cover, having no problems with the speed of that car as well. So saying that actually could be a bonus as well. Say as long as nothing happens to him, he can maybe still save that fast repair. Obviously, don't want to use it if you don't have to. And if your car has the pace that it's got right now, I would say save it until you absolutely need it, because it doesn't look like it's hurting you right now. So again, you see though, now you got Charles T there up on the outside. Jim Brooks looking to his inside. And then you've got Eric Laurie. He snuck back into this picture in that 071 car. So I don't think we've mentioned him too much today. So Eric charging back here, ready to start making his move as well. I see James Ledford. I think he's starting to get rid of those sandbags as well. Again, James, our Season 5 87 Cup Series champion. So say right now we've got about the top 11 here all together. So right now the last one in that group is Brandon Pastelacqua in the 23 car. So unfortunately, Dwight Plesh, he's fallen off the draft, as has the 80 to Michael Spell. I'm saying Maxwell Caldwell had to make that green flag pit stop due to that damage. So right now it's showing 1 lap down, but again, still is in contention here. So I mean, if these leaders, if they get through the green flag pit stop cycle, he's going to be able to get that lap back. And saying same thing for Kevin Freeze. He's showing 2 laps down. However, I believe Kevin is still in this lead pack as well. So let's say definitely want to count that out for Kevin if he can get that right opportunity at the right time. I'll say so far things are starting to kind of not cycle out a little bit, but kind of just stabilize just for the moment. I think that's the fuel run we're seeing. I think that's what's kind of happening now with these drivers. And again, I wonder, I feel like some drivers are kind of playing possum here, just saving as much fuel as humanly possible. Probably trying to run the lowest fuel setting they can without burning up their fuel reserves, and trying to see if maybe they could stretch it somehow. Because we've seen crazier things here. So I mean, Again, with the cautions right now, Eric Schaus and Todd Merkel are on lap 30 of this run, and you can see they're still staying out. They've saved, of course, fuel during these cautions, whereas everybody else is around lap, looks like 17 or so on their fuel runs, which I'm watching. The one I'm going to be watching, I think, is Craig Forsyth. I think he's got something underneath his sleeve, because Craig's a pretty good racer, and he's really good with these IndyCars too, but I just wonder if he's going full fuel save right now and trying to see if he can make it without a pit stop, should we go green to the end here. We have our first taker. You see that it's 72 of Eric Schaus. He's going to hit the pits. One in behind him as well. That is the one of Gabe Butler. So they're going to hit the pits together here, which will hand the lead over to Jack Walls. That's going to move Jim Brooks now up into second. And then again, you see that car to the outside. That is that 25 of Kevin Freeze is 2 laps down at the moment. But again, could get one back if he can get around these guys once their pit stops begin. And so that next one, I think we're going to see Todd Merkel. He's probably going to be in very shortly in that number 81 machine. It looks like he is, yep, he's definitely ducking off to hit the pits as well. So it looks like he's got a pretty good pit entry there. He's going to, he gets too much rear brake on the entry. As soon as I said that, I say apologies for the jinx there, Todd. He's going to be able to get that thing looped back around and be able to go after it. So now again, you see now you got Jim Brooks there, Jack Walls nose to tail, and again there's the 25 on the outside. That's Kevin Freeze, and this is big for him because again, if he can get this done here, he can stay on the lead lap, and that'll be critical, or that'll give him, I should say, sorry, that'll put him just 1 lap down, and I'm saying that could definitely be a big player in his results here tonight. And right now I'm showing the 94 and the 88 as being 1 lap down after, or sorry, the 72 and the 88 being 1 lap down after the pit stops. And yeah, you can see them here. They are just about a straightaway behind the leaders, maybe half a straightaway actually behind the leaders right now. So if they can get into the draft, that could help their speed a little bit as well. And so right now the next question is going to be, when did these next group of leaders pit? Because I think everybody's going to go as long as possible until they make their pits, just in case of a yellow, because again, you never know when stuff could happen. And there it is right there, Jim Brooks, and I believe that was 25 of Kevin Freeze. They make contact there, and that's going to bring out the caution. You see the 25 gets back going. You see the 76 is back going as well. But that was exactly, I think, why everybody was waiting as long as possible. So this is going to shake things up again a little bit. It's going to put a lot of people back in contention, though, as well, because they'll be able to take waiver rounds for those that made those green. So let's go ahead and see what happened here between that 25 and the 76. So it looked like it was coming into turn number 1 here. See the 25-76 as they go through. Looks like they kind of both just wound up going to the same real estate there. Because you see the 76 there is kind of on that first seam, and then the 25 Kim Freeze, he's a little bit higher. And it kind of looks like they both squeezed down just a little bit. So I think just again nothing. I don't think anything intentional there. Just drivers kind of going for the same space there, and just unfortunately making some contact with them. Oh, as you can see, also I think that was the 48 of James Ledford there. Yeah, it's James there. He gets caught up in this as well. But if he's lucky, he might. Oh, as he does some more off-roading there, he might just have wing damage here. Let's take a look on board. Steering wheel looks straight, so I think he's okay. Which is now going to bring us to pit stops here. And you can see everybody's trying to catch up right now. Actually, I say this is going to be a huge break for Jack Walls, Eric Laurie, because they're going to be able to pit here and not have to worry about people right behind them and jumping them on the pit stops. So they're going to have plenty of space between them, which will probably hold them pretty solid with the pit stops. And then I say we're going to definitely have wave rounds here. So I believe it's going to be... we're going to see Eric Schaus for sure. We're going to see Gabe Butler for sure. Those two are going to get wave rounds. I believe you see Todd Merkel there. He's going to do the same, as is the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. That's going to put all of these drivers here back on the lead lap. Unfortunately, it looks like with that incident, I believe, Jim Brooks looks like he may be done. I see him still sitting in the pits in that 76 machine. You see the damage on that car. Kevin Freeze is back out on track here. He's still showing 2 laps down, though. So we'll see on that one. I say, unfortunately, I think he's probably going to have to wait as well to be able to do anything there. Actually, I'm taking a look. No, okay. I thought I saw something change on that 76 car. Alright, so now we'll jump back over to our race leader. So yeah, so say Jack Walls, will say again that strategy has worked out well for him here. So he's going to be able to... Oh, actually, I got to update you. So actually, Eric Schaus is the lucky dog, so he gets the wave around. So he's going to be able to cycle back through here. I'm saying I don't think he could maybe take fresh tires if he wants to. I think at this point it probably doesn't matter for him. So he just wants to keep it as low on fuel, of course, as possible. Keep it as light as possible to the end. That being said, though, like I mentioned, though, you're going to see that one, you're going to see the 81 and the 94. They're going to all get waved around here, which will give us 13 back on the lead lap once we get the lights off this time by. And we are going to restart this race here with 8 laps remaining the next time around. Alright, so, like I mentioned, say it's slightly new faces up here. So we're going to have, like we mentioned, say Jack Walls, he's been up front a good chunk of this race here. Say Eric Laurie, though, he's now up in this mix here, now up into second. And say also the number 13, Ryan Kelly, now showing in 4th place in that number 13 machine. Say Charles Teed, we've seen him up in the front as well. And then that 48 of James Ledford, he's right there in 5th. So it looks like he got a front wing repair on that machine, so he's going to be back in good shape as well. So yeah, I'll say we're going to see what everybody has. We're going to say again, we're going to restart with 8 to go. Still have, of course, up to 3 green, white checkered attempts should we need it. However, if the white flag comes out before an incident occurs, drivers are going to race back. Or sorry, no, if white flag occurs before an incident, they'll race back. If the caution comes out before they get to the white flag, then they will rack them up and do it again up to 3 attempts. So now it's going to be all about getting these restarts as well as you can here. Probably try to time it a little bit, of course, and just try to be careful and do everything you can. As I mentioned, actually, Jim Brooks is back on track, unfortunately, also 2 laps down, as Jack Walls is away in that number 83 car. So now we'll see what he's able to see. He's got a good gap there over now. It looks like still Eric Laurie in that 071. I say he's got Charles Teed right behind him. So now it's all about that momentum for that 071 car and see if he can get that timed right. Because if he can time it right, he's going to have a big head of steam here. Maybe can clear that 83 car. It's not going to happen here in turns 3 and 4. So we'll see how he comes out of turn number 4 here and see if he's going to go to the top here. You see he goes way to the top there. So I don't know if that's going to work on the momentum side of things. So saying I'm watching now that 27 of Charles Teed. He's trying to find where he wants to put that machine as well. As you can see, also Ryan Kelly still right there in this battle as well. And saying again, we talked about the inside line. You see Charles Teed jumps to the bottom, tries to get underneath 83. Couldn't quite do it there, but is going to put now. He is going to jump into that 2nd position here. And actually gets to the inside and grabs the lead. Or no, I'm sorry, that's Ryan Kelly. I don't know where Ryan came from there. Wow. Ryan Kelly to lead. I apologize. I'll say I was trying to find the drivers to watch, but Ryan Kelly from 4th to 1st here. Say is again, business going to definitely pick up. You see the 131 of Craig Forsyth. He's jumping into the mix. Jack Walls. They say you see the contact between I think that was the 27 and the 071. Somehow they stay together here. As again, you see Ryan Kelly's going to hug the inside line, but Jack Walls is able to use the momentum on the top and get back around him. So now we'll see if Ryan Kelly's able to use the inside line and get back underneath the 83 car out of turn 4. Can't quite do it. Washes up a bit. He's going to have to jump to the top. As you see again, slowly but surely, Craig Forsyth creeping in the pictures. We have 5 laps to go here. Eric Schaus, we mentioned as well, so he's worked his way back up into here's in the middle of the 3 between that 131 and the 27. So I don't think he's had his say of how this one's going to end as well. He's going to jump to the top. Oh, you see Craig Forsyth just possibly touching the white line there. Gets to the underneath the 83 car. I'll say we'll have to see if I'll say that's up to the admins to decide on that one. I'll say I have no say in this one. But I say it was close there between that 131 and the 83. So we'll watch and see. As they come around 4 laps to go, you see there now. You've got the 131, 83, 27 to the outside. Eric Schaus now right behind these leaders. As again, things are going to be getting wild here. So Eric's going to try to see if he can find a gap. Can't quite do it. They make a little bit of contact. They back out of it though. Somehow these cars stay straight. Again, that's going to give Jack Walls again the lead here. Now it's going to be again Craig Forsyth, Eric Schaus. They're going to try to see what they can do to work on that 83 of Jack Walls. You see the 131 trying to peek to the inside. Couldn't quite do it at the line there. I think Eric Schaus just had the lead there on the entry. But now again, we're going to see them pinch each other, I'm sure, as close as possible through 1 and 2. And let's see as they come out of turn number 2 again right now. So they still stay side by side. You see everybody here is kind of dicing up. So it looks like Jim Brooks, he's just rolling out of it. So you guys go ahead. I can't. He's 2 down, unfortunately. Can't do anything right now where he is at. So now it's all about, as they come around here, we're going to have 2 laps remaining here at Michigan. And you see Eric Schaus just to the side pot of the 83. Again, just inches apart there. And this one's getting exciting here at the end. Well, actually, it's been exciting this whole race, but getting more exciting now. So again, Jack's going to have to try to watch his side for that number 72, but also he has to make sure he doesn't get too high fighting off the 72. As you can see, Charles Heaton, the huge head of steam, just nowhere to take it. Because again, if he opens that top too much there, or opens the inside, I should say, too much, that's going to give the door for Craig Forsyth to try to sneak to the white line there. You can see just inches under the. You see him peeking here. We'll see if he's able to fill the gap here as they come around. We're on the white flag. This will be it for the win. So again, this is race number 1 of 3 for the All-Star Series here with the Area 51 Racing League. So right now, Jack Wall's doing what he can to try to hold off the 72 of Eric Schaus again. Oh, you can see again, here comes the 130 with Craig Forsyth. Peeks to the inside, able to make it fit here. Now they got to go through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Everybody's squeezing each other as much as possible. Now is there momentum for everybody or not? Oh, we got contact in the back, but at the line, Craig Forsyth gets the win over Jack Walls, over Eric Schaus. That's going to be our top 3 for the finish. I don't know how Craig was able to squeeze that gap in there. That was a wild one here. Let's go back. I want to see how that 131 of Craig Forsyth was able to fit that tiny little gap there in that 131 machine, because that was a perfect move that he made there coming down the back. Alright, we're going to hop on the roll bar here of that 131 of Craig Forsyth with him coming out of 2. Again, this is on the last lap on the backstretch. You see Craig here, he is right behind the 83 car. He ducks the inside. You can see never gets below the white line, so that is definitely a legal move there. So he was just able to peek to the inside of Jack Walls there. And then as we mentioned, they're coming out of the back, coming off the back there as they come 3 wide through 3 and 4. So then they're going to, you see there, Craig's able to get to the inside, clears the 83, but then again, he's got to get straight back to the bottom and try to block the momentum of the 83. You see Jack tries to jump to the top, and everybody's just trying to go for every inch they can here. You see, unfortunately, Maxwell Caldwell, he goes for a slide there on the infield. So I'll watch them here as they come through. So I think there's also, I see the one, I believe that is a Gabe Butler. He's heading towards the grass as well. So everybody's just going for every inch they could there. But so you see, unfortunately, Maxwell there slides across the infield, but coming across the line here for the finish. You can see there, didn't quite catch it perfectly, but you see there, just about a half car length for Craig Forsyth to get the win over Jack Walls by about the same distance over Eric Schaus there. So yeah, just a wild one here at Michigan. It's a really great job by all these drivers here as well. That was a super exciting finish there. So trying to get it pulled up here. There they are. There's our top 3 at the line. So yeah, that's going to be race number 1 of 3 for this series. Again, we're going to have 2 more races to go. One on Thursday night with the Cup cars, and then our finale is going to be on Sunday night with the Cup cars at a super speedway race. I'm not sure if it's Daytona or Talladega. Let's say that's going to be again best average results. Well, I think it's just total points, I should say, actually, out of all 3 will be our All-Star champion. So not just a one and done thing. So say Craig's got the win tonight, but he's still got 2 more to try to win the All-Star week here with the Area 51 Racing League. So that being said, we got to hunt down some drivers here and have a chat with them because that was wild. So we'll start with the 72 of Eric Schaus. So we'll pull him up here. We'll jump over to his car. Alright, so we're going to lead things off here with our third place finisher, that number 72 of Eric Schaus. That was wild, Eric. You had to work your way up there from, obviously, you would say the pit stop cycle didn't quite go, I'm sure, how you were hoping it would. So you had to work your way from the back of the field to get even in contention again. And then at one point, obviously also missing the rear engine cover. I saw Todd there kind of peeking at your car a few times. I'm guessing you guys were kind of like, hey, am I missing any parts of my car there? But even without that engine cover, that car is still running pretty strong there. No, did I lose you, Eric? Nice. I saw it key up, but I say it's still.
There we go. Okay,
I gotcha.
Sorry about that. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that about me and Todd checking each other's cars because honestly, I was checking his because he was behind in that big wreck, and we didn't even think to look at mine because I didn't think I got any contact or any bumps or anything. And then my wife comes around the corner telling me, "Hey, you're missing the rear of your engine cover." So at that point, it was too late to pit. So I was just hoping that wasn't going to cost me any time, and it turned out to not really have any effect on the speed. So I got lucky there.
Yes, it ran pretty well without the engine cover. I'm sure the engine ran a little cooler too. So all those guys in the wind tunnels are gonna be scratching their head on that one. But man, I mean that was a wild race. So you started 13th, able to jump back up to 3rd there. But I mean, obviously, I was kind of joking. It was kind of like round 2, round 3 with.
Did I lose?
Sorry, my four-legged assistant here is causing me some grief, and I think actually somehow closed my iRacing window.
No problem. Ton of technical difficulties here on both ends.
Yeah, so apologies for that. So I don't know if my screen's showing up correctly for you. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's definitely not. So I'll try to see if I can get that recovered here. Yeah, he likes to help out a lot, and it doesn't really help. But no, you're exactly right though, Eric. Because so basically, like I was joking. It was like round 2, round 3 with you and Jack Walls there fighting obviously for that Indy title last week. Then saying again, you two are just like inches apart between each other. And I also noticed that both of you didn't want to run that yellow line. I noticed that pretty much that first seam. I'm saying that's kind of how it is with the Cup cars. You really want to run that first seam. That's kind of where things are a little bit better. It's not as I think it's a little bit more banking possibly, and then when you run that lower line, I think the car probably just gets a little tighter, and maybe hurts your eggs out. So I don't know if you can kind of maybe give a little bit more info on that one.
Yeah, I had some good fights with a lot of people in there. Jack and I were definitely going at it. That's when I need to definitely go watch the replay because we had contact several times, and one of them ended up putting him into the wall, I think, or him into somebody else to put him in the wall. So I got to watch that again and see what happened because I think we had a little disagreement on what was going on there. But as far as running that low line goes, yeah, I didn't mind it. If you had the weight jacker set appropriately, you could go all the way down to the line. And that wasn't a problem. You just kind of lost some momentum coming off the turn, but you didn't have to worry about spinning. If you didn't mess with your weight jacker, you didn't have enough jacker in there, you were almost guaranteed to spin either coming out of 2 or out of 4. And that's why I think everybody was afraid to really run that real low line. The second groove up was definitely preferred, and as long as nobody was trying to stick a nose under you, it was pretty straightforward to just kind of run that around.
Okay, yeah, I'll say that's good info for sure. I apologize. I'm trying to do a little bit of 2 birds here, trying to see if I can get everything to show correctly on my side. It's not working so well, but so yeah, I mean, again, so let's say 1 down, 2 to go. So I mean, obviously a good result here, grabbing that 3rd place finish. So I say, I unfortunately I don't remember what the schedule is offhand for the next two, but I say I know you've run a little bit on the Cup cars, so I say you're familiar with them. But I mean, how was it though? Also with having some drivers that maybe weren't 100% comfortable, possibly with these Indy cars.
I feel like I started 13th. I had a bad qualifying. I spun it going through qualifying, so that started me at the back of the pack. So I spent a little bit of time kind of getting through people, which wasn't too bad. I don't think I spent enough time there to really know um, how everybody else was doing. It seemed like everybody was doing okay. I mean, the hardest thing in these cars, especially at Michigan, where it's a little bumpy, is it's tough to hold a straight line sometimes. I think that causes some incidents. So people that haven't driven these cars or don't really know how responsive the steering can be might have struggled a little bit with that.
All right, I'll say that being said, I've got to give you opportunity. Of course, any thanks, shouts you like to give for getting that third place run here tonight, and say for that first race of the three for our Area 51 All Star Week.
Yeah, shout out to Area 51 for putting on this season and this league and everything else. I appreciate racing with these guys. I know we have some tight battles and definitely some racing incidents involved there. So I apologize for anything that's my fault. But good racing with those guys. Thanks to you guys at Green White Checker TV for putting on a good show, and then thanks to my wife for watching, and father-in-law, and anybody else that's out there watching. Appreciate it.
All right, well, congrats again. Great run. It was an exciting finish. Our charge at the end, and say able to grab that third place finish. And I say we'll see what you're able to do in those next two.
Great, thanks.
So trying to see this. I don't know if unfortunately I don't know if I see our second place finisher of Jack Walls. I'm double checking through my list here. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to try to see if I can get this thing fixed here, courtesy of my four-legged assistant. So if not, though, I'd like to try to get it working, because I say, well, obviously want to pull up the burnout of our race winner, Craig Forsyth. But that being said, though, we'll have to switch over to him, and let's have a chat with our race winner, because I do not find our second place finisher yet. So we'll go ahead and pull in our race winner here, that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Say, Craig, that was a wild one. I say that was a perfect move, though, at the end, able to jump from the kind of middle to the bottom. Say we watched from your kind of from the halo, if you will. Say those left side tires never touched the white line. You're able to sneak around through there, and also, I mean, keep that momentum up on the inside line, as well as we've seen drivers not wanting to run that yellow line there, but you're able to get it done here.
No, I need a bourbon to calm my nerves, because that was the craziest racing, the tightest racing I've been involved in months. That was a good race. I mean, we had some unfortunate stuff early on in the race. I think we went 3 wide at some point around lap 40 or something. And I know I got stuck in the middle. I think Bud and I came together, and that was unfortunate, but I was able to came into the pits, and I decided not to burn the fast repair and just ate the 5 seconds to repair the wing. And that turned out to be lucky, because there was the big accident at lap 80 or whatever that I think most of the front guys got caught up in. So I still had my fast repair to burn for that.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I mean, I'll say you're able to. The fast repairs are definitely showing to be a critical one for tonight, because I'll say there was definitely, and only having the 1-2, I'm sure that probably played into your strategy a little bit as well there.
Well, you hate to have it at the end and not use it, but better to have not used it than to have used it too early.
Yes, I think that's actually a pretty perfect way to put that there. So I'm trying to see. Apologies. My four-legged assistant here decided to jump on my desk and somehow completely messed up my iRacing. There we go. So it's not gonna be a perfect view of your car, but it's gonna be the best we can get for the moment here.
As far as the end there, I think it was the lap before I'd seen that he was leaving the bottom open. I think he was really focusing on Eric above, because Eric was going to make a charge. We all knew, he's fast, so knew he was going to make a charge. So I didn't make the move on that lap, and then the next lap he left the same spot open, and I just went for it, because I knew at that point I figured I'd still have the lead by the time we got to the front, and sure enough, or by the time I got to the front stretch. So it worked out good because I think it was because we were going 3 wide that I was able to sneak in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the move, like you said, I mean, you timed it perfectly. You were able to squeeze in there right where you needed it to make it happen there. Yeah, that was a really exciting one to catch there. So I think we got, well, it kind of looks really goofy, but that's all right.
He told me to knock my weight jacker down if I was going to run the inside, and that turned out to work really well.
So that's another good thing to mention. I say it's good to have some help and have some suggestions, things like that, to be able to get those suggestions and things like that. So again, let's say this is race number 1 of 3 for the All-Star Week. So have you run any of the Cup cars at all? Are you familiar with them at all?
I usually run 1 or 2 races a season. That's it. Thursdays and Sundays are usually busy nights for me. So I have other stuff I'm often doing. I'll make an exception for this week. So yeah, the only time I've shown up for the Cup races are basically when I have, the stuff I was normally doing falls through.
All right, so let's say you have to dust off the. I want to say maybe put the open wheel stuff away for a little bit. Start dusting off your closed cockpit racing prowess and see what you're able to do in these last 2 races, huh?
You betcha.
All right, I'll say again, apologies for some of the technical difficulties there. Say my assistants don't like to help me very well lately, it seems like. So that being said, I mean, great win. I'll say it was a really awesome move, really exciting finish there. And yeah, I'll say enjoy the win. And look forward to seeing you go after it here for 2 more races on Thursday and Sunday.
You betcha, man. Stay safe.
All right, so those are our 3rd and 1st place finishers. Unfortunately, Jack Walls looks like he had to step away. So that being said, we need to pull up our final results here. Say, nope, that's not results. Everything's broken here. So that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us here at Green White Checker TV. Again, race number 1 of 3 for our 3-race All-Star Week here with the Area 51 Racing League. Again, congrats to our top 3 finishers here tonight. Look forward to catching you all on Thursday for the next round. And until then, of course, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good night.